Hello there, I'm Mark Wolf, and welcome to Stationeers. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I know, it's something a little different, but I've been watching Rodamont play Stationeers on from his October Marathon series, and I wanted to give it a try. And since I'm going to be taking the week of Thanksgiving off, I figured this was a good opportunity to get something in that I can show for the entire week while I'm actually taking a break. So this works. Stationeers is a survival base builder resource management, right up my alley, kind of. Plus, it's outer space, and if you didn't know, I studied physics. I love astrophysics. I love outer space. So this works for me. We are going to be playing on Mars, the Hellas Crags, and we are going to be playing on the Stationeers difficulty. So we've got these four difficulties: creative mode, and over here on the right you can see information about the planet and the information about, well, your character. So creative mode, no weather damage, no food or water required, easy, calm weather, half metabolism, half double mining yield. Stationeers can't drink or eat with our helmet on, so we gotta open our helmet to eat or drink. We're on Mars, so that's a kind of an issue. You use up food 50% faster, water 50% faster, you breathe twice as much air. So we're going to be it's going to be difficult. And just to make life harder on me, we're going to be playing on Brutal. Our lander crashed, and we start with very little supplies. We have about 4 days of water and 6 days of 5 days. That's 6 bars. 6 days of food in our lander, and then we have 1 box of supplies, which has another 6 days of food and another 4 days or so of water. And we have enough to make an arc furnace, a lathe, a solar panel, and we have just enough potato seeds that we won't starve to death if we don't mess anything up. Mars Marathon. Let's get started. Now, very similar to the start for Terraformer Craft Hard Rock, the hardcore Hard Rock, once we land, we are in a race against time. I need to get a structure up. We need to get our power up. We need to get resource production up, and we need to get an airlock up before I run out of air. Because once we run out of air, game over. Okay, so here's our lander. It's got a little bit of food and water. We'll come back for that shortly. We have the sun over there. We have our supply crate right here. So we open this, and the hotkeys for our inventories are over here. 4, 5, 6, and using Alt, you can move your mouse around. I need to swap out a few things. We don't need the medical supplies, the portable solar generator, or flares at the moment, so I'm going to dump those. I'm going to keep those. We can open this quickly and toss in the atmosphere analyzer, so we free up a little more space. I want that and that. And then we're going to have to come back and grab all that in a few minutes, but we need to start building. So we need our torch, and we need our scaffolding so we can start building something. Sun is over there. I want to find a nice spot to set up. This is good enough, I guess. As I said, I've been watching Rodamont play this, so I am kind of going to use the base design that he used, or at least how he built it, right? So, with some adjustments. Oh, that's the wrong spot for what I want. So this will serve as our airlock right here as we get going. Next, we swap over to these frames, and then we need the torch, and we can start adding scaffolding to it. These ones need to be solid because we're going to need these to be airtight. These ones out here don't need to be solid. By adding the framework, we can stand on them without falling through, and we can place stuff on them. These ones, though, need to be solid because these are going to be the first part of our indoor base when we get to it. And we really don't want to be standing in the same spot on Mars as we do this because the torch produces heat, which makes us use up more air in our suit. All right, let's start unpacking some of this. We're going to unpack everything at once. We have a power input. We have a battery charger. We need our crowbar so we can open this. Switch that on. I'll grab the solar panel. We're going to place that down right here for the moment. I did that wrong. What do I need to take this apart? Drill? My gosh. Pressing all the wrong buttons. Wrench. We need the wrench to take it apart. Nope. I did need a hand drill. Now I gotta rebuild these because I took them apart by accident. Okay, so wasting valuable time. Perfect. Pressing C will change this direction, and the scroll wheel will change the type of setup. So I wanted that one. So I have both inputs in one location. Put that there. We grab our wires and our wire cutters. And then we can start running this cable so we can have power. And then because with the wire cutters, we can pick up the ones we placed down wrong. There we go. That gets us power. Well, once we rotate this to face the sun properly. The sun does migrate across the sky. We can use these down there to rotate, these to adjust the angle. Now you see we're at about, well, it's not a very good location for this solar panel, but there we go. Now we got 40%. Keep adjusting it. We can get it a little bit better. 60. There we go. Can't waste any more time on that. Let's get the next package up and running. The next package has our arc furnace and our auto lathe. The auto lathe will allow us to start making products. The stuff we need to survive. Put that there. We're going to want these. First we need iron sheets, so we're going to swap to that. Grab our torch again. Then we need cables. Then we need the torch again. Oh, plastic sheets. And then screwdriver. And there we go. Now we've got the auto lathe. Now we got to also run these cables so it has power. Nope. Okay, so we've just about lost all the sunlight, but we finally have this plugged in. We can turn it on and start producing stuff if we had resources, which we don't. So let's set up this too. Just gonna put it over here. It's not exactly the best place for it, but it will be outside when we have actual walls and everything set up. If we look down here in the right hand corner, we see our food, we see our water, and over here, where is it, in the suit, we can see how much air we have, how much air we've used, and our battery life. So now it's getting dark. L to turn on our flashlight so we can at least see what we're doing. And I need to finish setting this up. We've lost an entire day's worth of sunlight, which for my practice runs is normal on the first day. So it's not like we're doing particularly bad. We're just doing normally bad. I am going to want to adjust the solar panel again so that it is facing where the sun will rise. So that when the sun comes up, we have better power production. Okay. We want to switch over to our mining belt. Grab from this our mining drill. And we have to go find some resources. We need iron. We need silicon. Some oxide. That's nitrous. That's gold. We also need gold. Coal. We're going to need that too, just not yet. And we do have batteries. Oh, we're going to need copper also. We do have batteries on us, so we can do a little bit of production at night, but very limited. Because if our suit runs out of power and we don't have an airlock set up, we are in big trouble. That's regular ice. We will need that in the future for making water. Here's some iron. We're going to need quite a bit of this. So I should say, I am not good at this game. Not yet. I've played... I fell. Jay, to turn on your jetpack. Make it easier to get out holes. Especially on planets like Mars, which have more gravity than some of the other options. You can play on the moon. You can play on Titan and Mimas and a few other places, which actually are, you know, microgravity or close enough. I mean, the moon's not technically microgravity. Gravity, 17% Earth gravity, but it is a lot less gravity than Mars. As I was saying, though, I'm not very good. I've played for about 17 hours. I've died many times during that. This is oxide. We want some of this. Oxide we'll use to make atmosphere once we have an airlock. Now I'm gonna want some gold. And of those 13 hours, I spent the first 7 or so dying miserably many times over. I think I died. Well, I died and restarted because, you know, first time playing, the first few times playing, didn't quite know how everything worked, and I wasn't doing things efficiently, so I was stuck in a death loop. Because we don't get air up and running fast, we are doomed. Also, if we lose where our base is, we're doomed. Now, no, it's right here. I was going to say it's not that bad just yet because we're only just starting, but yeah. We're going to want to keep an eye out for it. capsule does good at helping us find our base again because it's got the, it glows. It will always glow. But my last run, which was going pretty well until one bad thing happened, and that was the, we get storms on Mars, right? Dust storms? Yeah, the dust storm carried our capsule away and our seeds away. So those potato seeds are the only renewable food source I have. No potato seeds? Game's over. So that's what happened my last playthrough, which had made about 15 days progress. So that's not good. One day is about 20 minutes. So capsule's there. Our base should be right here. Okay, so now we have gold, silicon, copper, and oxide. We don't need the oxide just this moment. But if we go back here, grab our... remember to turn off your tools because they do drain battery. And if the battery's drained, you're kind of... out of trouble. In trouble. A cool thing about the... no, I don't want to do it that way, actually. I want to do it this way. I was going to say the cool thing about the wires is with the wire cutter, you can splice them together, right? So here, if I do C, it rotates, and I can combine them. That was not a good combination. There we go. If we don't have the wire cutters, we can only lay roughly straight cables. I say roughly straight because you can put these turning ones also, but yeah, you can't combine cables, and that's what we need. So combine those. Now we can provide this power from that battery. We want that to be off because that will draw power even if it's not being used. Toss our iron in, turn it on, press that. That battery will drain. When this is on, this will drain the battery. We have limited battery life until we have more power. We have this battery, which is larger than those batteries. So worst comes to worst, we can always toss this one in there and use the small battery for our suit during the night. But we do need to obviously recharge the batteries, which is all going to come from the solar panel. And put them in the battery charger, which requires sunlight until we get other power production up and running. Okay, so I've had this here the entire time. This just sort of gives you a quick rundown of what you need. For example, it tells you build a room. We're going to need a door, or a composite door, or a manual hatch. And that we're going to make from here. For that, we're going to need glass and plastic. Okay, it's our iron. And to make glass or plastic, we need silicon. Just making that one batch of iron used up almost 30% of our battery. So you see how this is going. So we're going to need silicon. We're going to need iron. We're going to need copper for more wires and for other stuff to produce. I'm going to just hide this though, and that's F2. If we press F1, we open up the Stationpedia, which is a guide. And if we press this button here, we can actually pause the game. So the game's not running, especially early on when we have limited food, water, and air. So we can look at what we need. So I need to build doors. We're going to be building 2 composite doors for our airlock. To make the door kit, we need iron and copper. And so we're going to need 2 of those. So we're going to need 14 iron and 6 copper. And then to actually build the door, we're going to be doing the composite door, which is going to require a plastic sheet and a glass sheet. Glass takes 2 silicon. Plastic takes half. So we need 5 silicon in order to make the 2 doors that we need. How much have we processed? Almost all of it. So might as well just let it finish processing. As you see, we're down to 27% water. That's going to continue to decrease. Grab that. next toss in our copper. Iron is the quickest in here. Everything else is a bit slower. But yeah. And if we look down here, it tells us what's already in the autolave. Battery's at 61%. And now I just need to wait until this is done so I can start making that stuff. Oh, air vent kit, might as well set that up now. I'll put that there so we can wrap the pipe around, because we're going to need to make a pipe bending lathe, just like this one. So we can make more air tanks and a vent system so we can capture any air from our airlock. So we don't, so we can recycle the air. Because once we get this airlock up and running, we're going to, well, until we get a way to store the air, we're going to pretty much be wasting any air we put in the airlock in between uses. That's down to 30%, so we're going to need to do something different. Our suit battery is at 53%. So what I can do is I can swap these two. Our suit power is low, but this will at least give us enough power we can make what I need to make. Two door kits. Those are fairly quick. We do have extra metal sheets, so I don't have to worry about getting those. I'm going to wait till the other one's done because I don't want to waste resources making extra doors. Pressing this button starts and stops it. So we want to place this down and then, no, C rotates. I want to switch. So we have composite door there. And come on, go where I want you. Composite door there. Okay. Oh, look, the sun's coming up. Perfect. Require plastic sheet. Not steel. What did it say? Oh, life support. Yes, right. So let's steal that battery and toss that one up there. You see the sun's up. Solar panel's collecting power. We're going to adjust the angle so that it collects as much as possible. There we go. And turn that on, and that will charge that battery and charge that battery for us. Okay. I need 2 plastic sheets and 2 glass sheets. Was it 2 glass sheets or 4 glass sheets? Pause the game. 1 plastic and 1 glass per door. Yeah, okay. So we don't need more than that. So plastic, plastic. Crowbar for glass. And then we can use the crowbar to force open the door until we power it. But there's our airlock. That's going to allow us to eat and drink. Turn that off. Let that battery charge up. That battery is fully charged. We turn off our flashlight, which will save us a bit of power. And let's run up here. Wait, I left the food in my suit. Okay. So now what we can do quickly is go into our airlock. Close the door. Drop a little bit of this oxide that we collected. It is pressurizing in here. Because, so we're up to 35 kilopascals. If I grab this tablet and not throw it on the ground, I can turn it on. And since we have the atmosphere chip in here, it tells us what the atmosphere is. 83% oxygen, a little under 10% nitrogen, So we can breathe this. So we can open our helmet, and I have everything open that I don't need. We can unlock the helmet and open it, and we can breathe in here. Which means we can then grab our water and drink this. And it takes a moment to drink it. I'm going to drop that down. And then we can grab our cereal bar. We can eat that. And can drop that. And there we go. We have air and we have food. Now, of course, I'm going to close the helmet again, which is I. And I'm going to lock it again so I don't accidentally open it, because I've done that many times. And then we're going to waste the air I just put in here, go back outside, and get back to work. That battery's at 89%. We can adjust the solar panel. Hopefully you guys don't hear the lawnmower outside, because they're going to be here all day. All right, so that's powering that. And now we can get back to making the stuff we need. We need the... Whoop, I did not need that. The pipe. The hydraulic pipe bender requires gold. So we can turn that off so we're not wasting more battery. Toss our gold in there. Process that. And once that's done, toss that in and start making the pipe bender kit. We can cancel the process early by pressing that. That's our 2 grams. I forget how many we needed for the pipe bender. 2 grams. So now we can start that. This will take a while. It's a very slow process, so it's a good thing we have the sunlight and a full battery to work with. Talking about full battery, our life support is down to 57, so we're going to swap those back over. That'll charge. That'll charge. This will run thanks to the sun. We do have other power production methods. We're on Mars. We can build wind turbines. I haven't built one yet. Copper, steel, electrum. So that's... Oh, and a tier 2. So we can't do that yet, even if I wanted to. We can build more solar panels, but we also have a solid fuel generator that we can build that will allow us to burn coal for power. But it produces a lot of power and will burn out our normal cables. So if I wanted to do that, I need to make heavy cables, which requires a electronics lathe, which we don't have access to yet. Well, I mean, we can build it now if I want to, but I can't. Not going to. So last time I played, the wind decided to carry off all my stuff when we had a dust storm. So I'm going to preempt this by moving all of this stuff together and then moving this to our facility. Close. Grab that. Not going through the airlock because I've heard that there are situations where this crate can absolutely crush you in the airlock if it bumps you. But here we have our stuff closer to us, and when I build a... what's the thing called? A locker, we'll be able to... Nope, wrong tool. Store everything in our base without having to worry about it being blown away. Just a solar panel. Is this still running? Wow. Gold runs slow. That's fully charged. Let's turn that off. Only 70% of the way to the lathe. That's taking a while. So once we have the lathe down, we're going to want to run more cables. So we have power for the lathe. And then we'll make our pipes to connect this to here so we can have a way to capture the air that we have in the airlock and also cycle in new air, but that will allow us to refill our oxygen canister here. Okay, so hydraulic lathe is done. I can go right there. It's going to take same resources it took for our last time we built it. So iron sheets, cables, and then a plastic sheet. One. I think it's two. Yep. And then screwdriver to finish it. And there we go. Now we have the pipe bending lathe, so we can actually make tanks and pipes, which are going to require our iron. So we're going to pop everything out from in here. Turn that off. Iron and I think copper. Turn this on. We want a gas canister. This will allow us to store gas, obviously. We're going to want a pipe utility kit. And the sun is gone. And then we want just regular pipes. And we're going to want 2 of those. Or 3. Let's make 3. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take this pipe, rotate it, if I get it correct, like that. 1 pipe there. So that's connected to our vent. It's going to come out. We're going to want to come down. Right, I didn't need extra, so I'll just place that there for now. The pipe utility, I can rotate. Our battery's getting low again. Want that there. So we could then take that tank, put it there. And now when we fill this airlock, we'll be able to capture the gas, put in there so we can not waste air. And now all we need to do is run power into here, up to there. And remember to turn that off so we're not wasting what little power we have. And then we are, well, good for now. For tonight. Let's grab this, grab that. This is not the most efficient cable setup, but it's going to be good enough for now. So now we have this powered. That's going to have power. We can turn that off because that wastes power. We can cycle air in and out of the airlock and not waste air because, well, this tank is getting low. So we're going to want to have more air for that. And our power is getting critical too. So let's swap over batteries. Put that one back in there, even if it's not on. Turn this on quickly because I need a filter. Specifically, I need a nitrogen filter, which we don't have enough iron for. Okay, that's going to have to wait till the morning. So then let's go in here. Let's crowbar our door shut. We have a little bit of atmosphere in here, but it's not enough. So let's drop about 4 units of oxide in. Grab our welding torch and melt it. Heats up the room, adds atmosphere. There we go. We can now unlock our helmet once again. Open it. And now we can breathe. And because we are in this room and it's airtight, we can actually turn off our suit. It's cold. It's only 2 degrees Celsius. But now we're not using up our battery if we turn off our light. Gonna leave the light on so you can actually see. But this is how we can preserve power during the night, during our first few nights until we actually have a fully airtight base. And then when the sun comes up and we go outside, we just want to make sure this is set to outwards. And then we turn this on and it'll suck all the air up from in here and put it in the canister we put on the wall. We have enough air to last us about half a day. And we're going to need to swap out one of these carbon dioxide filters for a nitrogen filter. Because the air in here, as you saw earlier, has nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. So obviously we need to filter out the carbon dioxide. But if we don't filter out the nitrogen, we will suffocate on the nitrogen. If we don't filter out the nitrogen, we will suffocate eventually because all the oxygen will be displaced by nitrogen and we can't breathe nitrogen. So we'll need a nitrogen filter. We'll need our carbon dioxide filter. And technically, since this this does have pollutants in it, we would need a pollutant filter, but it's so low that we can make do without it for now. And so, yeah, I'm just going to wait until the sun comes up and head back out. And since we're going to be in here for the moment being, we might as well finish, well, top off our food and our water. So when you finish a cereal bar, it's completely gone. But you keep the water bottle because we're going to need to reuse the water bottles for water in the future. There are advantages and disadvantages to having the doors be unpowered. Unpowered, they obviously don't use power. And since we have limited power, that's a good thing. The bad thing is if we die in here for any reason, our crowbar is on us, when we respawn, won't be able to open the airlock from the outside. So we're sort of trapped in here, and if that happens, then we're stuck in a death loop because there's no way for me to survive long enough to craft a new crowbar to get inside to get my suit back. So, pros and cons. Right now, we're just going to stick with the crowbar and hope I don't make any serious mistakes. Knock on wood. And with that, we're going to call it an end here for today. So thank you for joining me today. If you have any tips or advice, please feel free to share it in the comment section, but be aware these videos were pre-recorded, and so I will not be able to act on them at this time. Please remember to tune in tomorrow for the next episode in this series. There will be 7 episodes in total. And until then, thank you for joining me today. I hope you've all had a wonderful day. Thank you to my channel members for your support, and I'll see you next time. Later.